Hey Mallards, it is Friday, and as promised, I did watch the third episode of She-Hulk. I really do feel like my videos lately are just me talking about media I love, but I'm okay with that because I love media and because I've had a lot of fun consuming the content I've been consuming, and I have a lot of fun talking to you guys about it. And will these be as useful in the future as my vlogs about my life? Probably not, but would be more useful than a vlog where I was like, today I mowed the lawn. So, She-Hulk episode 3. My first note is it's the superhuman law division. I'll forget that again, but I just wanted to put it out there that I listened this time and wrote it down. I really liked Emil's story about being forced to leave, but then coming back of his own free will. And Nikki is the MVP at all times. But her being like, I sent him a thirst trap. It was me with a bunch of books. She's so smart. Wow, she had Wong figured out in like 60 seconds. Really, Stephen Strange needed her on his side when he was trying to get this whole sorcerer thing to work. Also, Jen, don't worry. I will not forget that this is your show, and I am not here for the cameo of the week. Unless it's Bucky. Or Elena. And then, like, maybe I am, but also I still know it's your show, but, like, also... Are Bucky or Elena coming? Because I'd be in. And then my next note says, oh look, misogyny is here. Wow, great. It's just what I needed. I mean, I understand why it's there. It's a good commentary, although it does seem like sort of this inundation of social media that then doesn't necessarily have any relevance on the rest of the plot. And therefore, I'm not sure why it needs to be there, except to just be like, hey, do you see how stupid these fanboys are? And the answer is yes, and I've known that for a while. So my response is simply, yep. We are turning every single superhero female. I don't actually see why it needs to be, like, that's just the truth. That's what's happening. We're just turning every superhero female. Like, it's just facts. The sky is blue, and all superheroes are female now. So, continue on with your lives, I guess. Don't watch superhero films anymore. I'm also fine with that. You know, you can protest in your own way. Please stop coming to Marvel films. We are turning every single superhero female, and it will be only girls from now on. So if you don't want to be there, that's okay. I will not miss you in the seat next to me. Just throwing that out there. I'll still buy tickets. Marvel will still be fine. They're owned by Disney. They're a behemoth. And I think it's totally fine that all superheroes are female. So that's my soapbox. My next comment just says, ugh, Dennis. Which is how I feel every moment he's on screen. Very annoying. And then I said, I have a lot of self-confidence, and this is true. I'm a very confident person. I'm very happy with who I am. I'm very comfortable in my own skin, but Mallory Books is definitely a cooler Mallory than I am. In her 6 seconds on screen, I was like, ugh, she's really cool. I can't wait for more of her. And she's also part of the Superhuman Law Division, so like hopefully they're all gonna get close before this show ends in, I don't even know how many episodes. I did enjoy Dennis's whole B-plot, though. Him dating a shape-shifting elf and being totally taken by her because I approve of her tactics, and just thinking that she was Megan Thee Stallion, hilarious. And Jen having the absolute correct reaction, just laughing at him. Ugh, so perfect. That whole scene was delightful. And then Wong shows up. And my note says, Wong might be the Sorcerer Supreme and have magic, but we all know that his real superpower is knowing how to make an entrance. Like, just take a moment for yourself and think about every time Wong shows up. Like, think about the moments that are happening just before that. That man sits on the other side of the world with his sling ring, and he's like, not yet. No, not yet. Not yet. Now is the time I make my entrance. Like, I don't know how he does it, but it is a superpower. I talk about mundane superpowers a lot. He has real, like, his mundane superpower is knowing how to make an entrance. And then Jen gets to escape, which means poor Pug gets to be assigned to Dennis's case, and I feel bad for him. But then the conversation between Jen and Wong, where he's like, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that I should erase but I'm not gonna erase everyone's memories. It's the best. And she's like, I was not thinking that, and it's highly unethical. And he was like, yeah, it's also a mess. And I was just thinking, wow, if the real people in the real world like understood the ridiculousness that the sorcerers clearly get up to all the time, if Wong is also talking about erasing everyone's memories, because like we know Steven did it, but does Wong know Steven did it? No, because his memory got erased. So like they're doing some questionable stuff over there in Camartage. And then him being like, nah, it's fine. We'll just reserve sorcery for strategy B. And I was like, sir, why? But also I love him. And then we get to pop back over to poor Pug, who's dealing with the fact that Dennis spent $175,000 on a person he thought was Megan Thee Stallion. And what cracks me up about that is not the amount of money. Well, it is the amount of money. But it's not that he believed that this shapeshifter was Megan Thee Stallion. It's that he believed that Megan Thee Stallion would need $175,000 worth of his money. Ugh. Poor Pug. Like, I know nothing about him at this point, but I do know that he deserves better than being stuck with Dennis. Then we get back to the news, and all the news people are standing outside the prison while she's dealing with the whole Emil Blonsky of it all. And they say, you were rejected. Rumor is that Jen Walters rejected by the Avengers. And I was thinking, what Avengers? Like, seriously. What Avengers? Because by my last tally, there's Hulk. And he certainly didn't reject her. Because Iron Man is gone. Right? Cap is gone. Black Widow is gone. Hawkeye clearly ditched that for his, like, at-home life. Thor is currently off-world. Like, he left at the end of Infinity War. And so the only one left is the Hulk. And he certainly didn't reject her. Scarlet Witch, also technically an Avenger, like, became an Avenger in the MCU. So I guess, but Wanda also, had her whole thing where she left. And like, is it just that every superhero is an Avenger now? Like, they've decided that every superhero is an Avenger now? So like, but who rejected her? Because like, Ant-Man would never. And Spider-Man is definitely not part of the Avengers. And Captain Marvel, I assume, is off somewhere else. As far as I know, Black Panther is probably not part of the Avengers. Like, he would have gone back to Wakanda. Like, who are these Avengers you guys keep talking about? I really want to know who y'all think are the Avengers. Or do you just feel like she didn't join? Like, you just don't know that there are no Avengers anymore. Like, Tony's tower just sits there, because Rhodey, like, looks over it every once in a while. I guess new Captain America, right? Sam. So, Sam and Bucky? Like, Sam could be an Avenger. But I also don't feel like he's, like, who are the Avengers for you guys? I do need to know. Somebody tell me. Who are the Avengers? Who are these Avengers who rejected Jen? Like, we know that the rejection isn't true, but I just really need to know who you think rejected her. Like, what is the view of who the Avengers are in the public space right now? And my Miss Marvel watching brain thinks that you're pretty sure that the Avengers are just Ant-Man. Prove me wrong. Okay. Oh, and then we get into the hearing and the soulmates came and he's like, they're my better eights. And I just, it's so silly. And I maintain, not the face of polyamory that I wanted, but it's a wild time and it could be really fun. I hope they continue to handle it with like a little bit of humor, but not too off the rails. And he does really seem to have changed, which I support, but I also still fully expect him to get out and then join the Thunderbolts. So there's that. Like, I expect a turn, even though he does really seem like he worked really hard to reform while he was being held prisoner. Well, he was being a prisoner, I guess. And then once again, Wong uses his superpower to make an entrance. And then we get to flip back over to poor Pug and his dentist case, where Runa, who is the light elf who can shapeshift, is absolutely just out of control. Like, completely out of control. And I loved every second of it. Like, it was so freaking funny. And then we flash back to where they're dealing with the whole Emil Blonsky of it all. And Wong just said, Kamar-Taj is lovely this time of year. And so I don't know if that means that we are pre-Multiverse of Madness, or if like we don't know the fallout of Multiverse of Madness and maybe like Wanda used her last seconds to rewrite reality and like bring back Kamar-Taj. I don't remember how that movie ends. Like ends because I was really angry. Did they have a funeral? Is that how? I don't remember. I really don't remember how that film like ends. But like it's possible, I guess, that like Wanda put people back, or that he's just like trying to be positive. I don't know. Or that this happens before Multiverse of Madness. Someone will figure it out someday. That someone is not me. Like, I want to ask these questions, but I also don't care enough to do the research. But the transformation into Abomination, absolutely boss. I loved it. Like, I thought that whole trial bit was really fun. I like Emil, which isn't surprising because I really like that actor. And so I liked everything about that scene. And I also like Wong a lot. And so then turning to Wong and being like, but now you've agreed that you broke somebody out of prison. And he's like, oh, I must depart. Goodbye. And just gets out of there. I guess he also is pretty good at exits, but like not as good at exits as he is as entrances. And then I enjoyed Pug like coming to join Jen and Nikki for drinks. I thought that was cute. And like I really want some superhuman Law Division bonding. Like it's all that I need. And then we're back to Pug has gotten an idea. He's figured out how to solve his case, and he does manage to do it. But man, Megan Thee Stallion actually being in the audience, slaying, loved it. And Jen, I promise to never let Dennis know that he gave you an idea. And so then she goes back, and like finds out that Emil has been dismissed and he gets to go free, and that's very exciting. He can hang out with his 7 soulmates and probably go back to his dark ways and join the Thunderbolts, but that's for future superheroes to deal with. Probably won't have an impact necessarily during this show. But then I got like actually maybe upset. And so the whole episode, Nikki, who is Jen's best friend, has been telling her that she should do these interviews, that she should like take control of the narrative. People are spreading all of these rumors about She-Hulk, and she should do an interview, set the record straight, explain what's actually happening, and like take over who Jen is, who She-Hulk is, all that kind of stuff. Makes total sense, right? And for days and days and days, Jen's been like, no, I'm going to go back to being an anonymous lawyer when this is over. Like, I just want to let it blow over. I don't want to talk to anybody. And then Emil literally says like 6 words. Like something like, they're going to talk about, no, I guess more than 6. But like, he says something along the lines of, they're going to talk about you no matter what. So like, why don't you control the story? Which is essentially what Nikki has been telling her for days. And she's been like, no. And then Emil says it once and she's like, yes. And I understand that maybe their relationship is different or whatever, but it did really scream to me like that cliche where a woman is standing up in the boardroom and saying an idea and everybody's like, whatever. And then a guy stands up and says the exact same idea and everyone's like, oh, wow, that's a really good idea. Like, that's how it felt. And I expected better from the writers. Like, it should have gone the other way. It should have been Emil, like, when they were in their meetings being like, you should do those interviews, you know, take control of your narrative. And her being like, no, I'm just going to deal with you. And then when this is over, like, it'll blow over. And then Nikki being like, you should really do this. And her being like, you're right, Nikki. A man has been telling me this for days, but now that you say it, it makes sense. No, instead it went the other way. And like I said, dear writers, I expected better. However, the actual interview, perfection. Just asking her about the name She-Hulk, which she didn't even come up with, and then saying that after break you'd be back with her diet and exercise routines and secrets. Like, how accurate to how specifically Marvel people have been treated in the media. That's the main difference. There's a whole video meme section if you want to fall into that rabbit hole where you can watch especially early Avengers interviews where they're like, male character, here's a deep question about the character you portray and what it's like to create that character and curate them and build them up. Great. Female actress, how do you fit into that superhero suit? Like, it's really accurate. And then Jen comes back to a bunch of guys trying to jump her in an alley and she just looks at them and is like, did you rob an Asgardian construction worker? And the guy's just like, yeah. Hilarious. But they do try and stab her and take her blood. Doesn't work because she's already become the Hulk and, you know, can't get a needle in the Hulk. But somebody is out for blood and I wonder who. Like, I'm curious to see how the bigger, deeper, darker part of this develops. And then it turns out that Megan Thee Stallion is signing Jen up to be her lawyer, which is pretty boss. And they have a lovely dance party. And that's how the episode ends. She-Hulk is just fun. I'm having a great time. I'm having a grand time. It is not my favorite currently, although it could get there. Like, it could, if Yelena is one of the weekly guest stars, then like maybe it will get there. But I'm right now just having a great time. So let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode, any other thoughts you have on the ridiculousness that I talked about and didn't edit out, and I'll see you tomorrow.